There we go. Episode 8.
Episode 8, we are live on Sideline Whispers.
That was a good one. Drop it.
That was good.
It's like you're dropping the
The
mic there.
drop. The drop.
All right. So we got free agency starting in 4 days.
It's coming up quick, baby. There's a lot of big things that could be happening. A lot of dominoes that have slowly started being able to fall, but it'll be interesting to see where some of these bigger names go.
There's been a lot that's happened already, actually. T. Higgins, he re-signed with the Bengals. Trey Smith re-signed with Kansas City.
Well, the franchise
Zach
tagged
Bond. Yes, franchise tagged. Sorry, to clarify.
both of those. Zach Bond re-signed.
Yes.
He
re-signed.
Yeah, he re-signed. He was good. He was. I thought he could have been. I don't think he did, but I thought he could have gotten a couple votes for. I mean, he really showed out in the playoffs, but he had a great year last year.
He had a fantastic year. For what he came in and was expected to do, he definitely deserved that contract. He was the heart and soul of that Philadelphia defense, I feel like.
For sure. And then I really wanted the Vikings to get Trey Smith, and I know it's only one game, but he got ragdolled in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I was like a little
Yes.
after the Super Bowl. I was like, yeah, maybe I don't want Trey. I mean, he's obviously way better than anything the Vikings got, but I was like, dude, he showed that he's not, all world. So I knew. So they franchise tagged him, which I think is smart because I knew otherwise he was probably going to reset the guard market, and I don't know if I was like going to be real high on the Vikings resetting the guard market on him after he just showed that he just got like ollie-whopped in the Super Bowl.
I mean, that Philadelphia defensive line in that Super Bowl, though,
Oh, they're
they
they're gangbusters.
it was like the Giants and versus the Patriots so long ago there, where they had Justin Tuck, Osi Umenyiora. Who's the last guy? There was one other one.
Michael Strahan. Oh, well,
Strahan.
one of them, yeah. The versus
Yeah.
'07 Patriots, the perfect season. That
Yeah.
wasn't. Yeah,
No,
they
but they had a bunch of them.
and they've been very good at it. They did it I mean, they've done it for years, but just how important the trenches are, and just constantly drafting people and signing people in the trenches. But then also how good it can be is like when you have like you're deep with some talent on the especially the defensive line where you can rotate some people in and they can be fresh, and you just it's dangerous when you can get people who are fresh and who are talented. It's when you're a good guard, tackle, center, but when it's the third, fourth quarter and you're facing you've played 40 snaps and you're facing somebody who's only played like 10, 12, they're fresh, baby. And
Already.
and right after that play, someone comes, they get to take a break, and someone who's only done 10 or 12 reps comes in off of a break and you just had to go. So yeah, it's it's tough. It's a good way to.
I wonder if that's a thing that they could do with offensive linemen too. If you had such a good offensive line, like backups, that you could just kind of rotate them in, like people or defensive coordinators do with edge defenders. I wonder if that's ever been thought of.
I think it's.
Has anybody tried that?
I don't think anyone is really. I think it's too hard. I think it would be too hard because the offensive line, more so than probably any position, is there's 5 of them, but they all work together. So they're all working together. They have to have a chemistry. They have to know, like, hey, when I see this, I'm breaking off, or I'm immediately going to this guy as like right off the snap, off of this pre-read snap. I'm gonna go and grab this guy, so you have to slide to this way to pick up a guy that I might be not getting anymore. And I think the chemistry that they have to have is so much higher than the defensive line, where yes, you got stunts and stuff, but like most of the time it's mano a mano. I only got to focus on beating the guy in front of me, or taking up 2 guys and trying to get them sucked into just taking on me. Where I think the O line is a little, and I think O line might be there's not as many. It's harder to be really good at O line than maybe because there's
It's like cornerback. You can see the mistakes more than anything.
yeah, oh yeah,
Like
yeah,
if somebody misses a block, it's the quarterback's going down,
yeah,
or the running
and
back's getting tackled, or it's a bad play. It's the negatives stand out more than the positives. Like when you know a good cornerback is there, you don't see him, but you know it's because they're nothing's happening over there. That's a good thing for them. Same thing for offensive linemen. If nothing's happening, that means they're doing their job. No big plays are supposed to happen because of those players.
yeah, I actually think that's actually a really good analogy too, in the same sense too that offensive linemen as well as corners. So corners, when you're covering, you can only cover for so long. So if the defensive line doesn't get home, eventually
Yep.
someone's going to be open. Same goes for the offensive line. You can only block, and there are plays where you see it where the quarterback's standing back there and he's got all the time in the world. That does occasionally happen. That's the exception. Same with corners and the coverage is the quarterback's back there and he does have all the time, but he can't find anyone open because they're. But that's the exception for both. A lot of the times, the offensive line they can give you 4 seconds to get the ball out because
Yep.
that's all they can do. Same with the corners. Hey, we can give you 4 or 5 seconds. You got to get home though, and it's very similar. That's a very good analogy, Andy.
Thanks, man.
You know,
Blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
I mean, that's true. A bat in my home country, they say a bat finds a neck every once in a while.
A bat. USA's. Wait, what?
I'm from Transylvania. I don't know.
Oh, okay. That'll do it. It's your alternative ego.
Yeah,
Roydy's Matt. Yeah.
yeah,
Back to free agency though. We got oh man, there's so much that's gonna happen here the next few days. It's kind of scary, but at the same time, it's kind of like that's very exciting. So very exciting for like the Raiders who just got Geno Smith. They just re-signed Max Crosby. They got some things happening over there. They're making some splashes. Who knows if I'll do anything? I think Pete Carroll is their coach now again, so
yep,
him and Geno reunite.
yeah.
Um,
I think that'll be interesting, and I think that's. I mean, I don't think the Raiders will be anything crazy special.
I don't think
They do
so,
have
no.
like I believe the sixth pick, though, so they could get someone good, so that'll help. But they got a lot of holes, and the interesting thing from that though is now I believe, and I don't think he ever was actually going to come back to the Vikings, but that Sam Darnold, I think he's going to sign with the Seahawks.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I don't know if that means they did just let Tyler Lockett go. I don't know if that means because I know that DK Metcalf I think requested to get traded or cut. I don't know if like Sam Darnold is worth like DK saying, "Oh, I'll stay." But I do think that Sam Darnold would probably be a better quarterback for DK Metcalf than Geno Smith was, just because Sam Darnold, I think he showed it as a Jet. It was just horrible coaching, and also just
Uh-huh.
he didn't have good coaching in that he like aggressively just always wants to take the shot, and I think that really showed in the Vikings office that offense that he aggressively takes the shot and always is looking for that bigger play. And I think a player like DK Metcalf think he'd be a great wide receiver for him and sneaky. I don't know. I don't know how old DK is. I don't think he's too old, but I wouldn't be too upset if this is gonna be a
27.
hot take that if he's paid a lot too, so it'd be a lot of money towards the wide receivers. But the Vikings trade Jordan Addison for
Oh boy.
DK Metcalf.
Oh,
The only reason why I say that is because Jordan Addison is set to most likely, which one of the reasons why I don't think he will probably get traded. He should theoretically get suspended this year for 3 games for his off the field incident last year that they let play out in the courts or whatever. But that's 2 years in a row that he's had an off the field incident.
Yeah.
one for going like 120 and a 55, and then the other one for being found asleep in his car on the highway because
That's a
he
problem.
was because he was intoxicated and he was
Oh.
asleep in his car. Yeah, he wasn't driving because he was asleep and he pulled over, but I don't know how he got there. So I think, and there's just a couple other things I just heard that someone in the front office, not on like Quasi or GM's level or KOC's level, but someone is like really not into him. Supposedly, this like for the off the field incidents, I guess his dad is like outspoken
Really?
against some things on, or maybe some moves or whatnot on like social media, as well as which when we drafted him, I was like, I really want him, but then I remember what he said, and it did stick with me. And I think it's like overblown, but I just remember when he said it, I was like, I don't know. Is in his first interview with, he just put the hat on, the Vikings hat, he's on the stage, just got drafted, and one of his first words out of his mouth was, "Let's get paid." And
It's
yeah,
like you just got drafted.
yeah. So
You
I was like,
prove it.
I don't know what don't get me wrong. I think he could be a number one on a team. I think
He's good.
he's small. He's like your 1B. You could have him as your number one, but you would really like maybe to have a true, a true X, and then have him as your 1B. But I do think on a decent amount of teams he would be a number one, just because he is so good at route running and he's got really good hands, but he is so good at route running. And I think that's like one of the things that make him and Jefferson good is together is because they are. I think I mean, I'm obviously biased, but I think Justin Jefferson's the best route runner in the NFL. But I think Jordan Addison's like, he's not the
Up
best, but he's
there.
up there.
Yeah.
He's like a very good route runner because he's not that fast. He's not that big. He's like maybe 6 foot. I don't even think he's 6 foot, but he also ran like in the 4.4s. He wasn't blazing speed, but he's open. He gets open all the time, and it's because of how good his route running is. And he did that in college. He was one of the better route runners, and I think, but I don't think he will get paid by the Vikings. So I think just because we have so much money in Jefferson, that's also why I don't know if we would get DK, because you're paying him. But
Yeah.
I think it would be in the best interest, maybe not this year, just because he does have that suspension, so people might not, really want to trade for him. But if he can stay clean, so we can get something for him. But I think it could be a very real conversation for next offseason, trying to get some draft capital for him, and then trying to
Hmm.
hopefully hit on a player in the draft, so we could just because we do have so much allocated to the wide receiver group, just because we have Justin Jefferson. That was very long winded.
It's okay. I think Jordan Addison, man. I I agree. I think he's going to be a 1B somewhere. How long is he on his rookie deal for? Is it one more or two more years?
This was just his second year.
Okay, so he's got 2 more years.
2 more years, then he's got the fifth year option that
Yeah.
I mean, anyone would pick up
Um, so two
currently.
more years there. So if they were to trade him this year, somebody would have to sign him to that contract. And it sounds like he just wants the money.
Yeah,
That's
I
what it
mean,
sounds like to me. But
if he didn't have off the field issues, I would have no problem. It's just I'm worried that I'm worried that we just won't be able to pay him. But also I'm just worried that like he's already
I don't.
he messed up his rookie year before he played. He got in trouble, and then he messed up last offseason. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not good. And
No, not a good look.
the day after he got arrested for being in his car intoxicated, the day after he posted on Instagram a picture of him drinking a mimosa. You just got
What are
in,
you doing?
you just got in trouble for alcohol.
Come on, man.
I think he's a great football player. I don't know if he's got, or I don't know if he's mature enough to be
Yeah.
a player you would want long term, and that's just. But I mean,
I mean, he's still
hell of a
young. He's
player.
probably still like 23 years old, 24 years old. So
Yeah, I think he. I'm trying to think if he was a 4 year. Because he was, everyone's weird during the COVID. But I think, yeah, I think he wasn't too young. So he might be like 24
he's
now.
23 now.
23?
Yeah.
Okay. That's still young. And please, for the love of God, do not let Aaron Rodgers come to the Vikings.
I told you, man. It's gonna happen. I
No,
told you.
it can't.
It's gonna. Time is a flat circle, man.
It's not.
It's gonna come back around.
I think we have one of the better cultures for team and locker room and KOC's built, and I think Aaron Rodgers is like the opposite of culture. He might be cultured, but he's not, locker room culture.
That's a good saying. He might be cultured, but he's not a locker room culture. I'm telling you, man, it's gonna happen. He's gonna come back. And you know what? He's gonna come back. He's gonna have kind of an off season. He's gonna be like 44, and then he's gonna come back and light it up, just like Brett Favre did. You're gonna make it to the NFC Championship game
Yeah,
and
fuck
lose.
off.
And then you'll know the real pain.
I'll know the real pain. I know pain, Andy.
You'll know the pain of Aaron Rodgers.
You know what though? The only way I would take Aaron Rodgers is if he brought Devontae. If he brought Devontae with him, all right, I might be all right.
Yeah.
Cause like, hey, I'd take Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison.
That's a scary trio.
Aaron Jones,
TJ
probably,
Hawkinson.
yeah,
Aaron Jones will come back. He'll bring Randall Cobb out of retirement just to mentor the young guys.
yeah. Bring AJ Hawk.
AJ Hawk is going to be there. Get a middle linebacker in there. He'll poof into dust once he gets tackled or hits somebody. But
Yeah. Bring Kuhn. I would take him.
John Kuhn, Mason Crosby will come out of retirement. You'll have a good kicker.
Fuck kickers. Just go for 2 every time.
That's what everybody does nowadays, anyways. It's so common now to see teams go for 2.
Yeah.
Like growing up, it was always just an automatic extra point.
Yeah.
And now
They moved it back.
they made
huge.
they
game
moved
changer.
it back. Yep, they moved it back, and everybody's started missing them. And now people are realizing that it's not automatic anymore. So now they do go for 2 sometimes, and
Yep.
I like it because it added a new element to the game. Something that used to be a boring play could now mean something out of it, which is pretty cool.
No, I agree.
Which
Oh, I agree.
that's like the opposite of what they did for the kickoffs.
Yeah.
I think the kickoffs used to be an important play, and now it's
Yeah.
meaningless because nothing ever happens. It's like, oh, going to the 25 or 35, wherever it's at now.
Yeah, I do. I think. Well, to circle back, just because I do want to hit all of those. I think that is one of the better rule changes that they did was moving the extra point back, just because it is such a game changing play now, and it's also it's not a given, so like makes it so much more wild. And also I think that one of the things it does too is I think it affects kicking overall too, even field goals, is because back in the day, if you scored a touchdown early, you got to go out and kick an easy kick. And you got to warm up in live game action with an easy gimme kick. Now, there aren't no gimme kicks. Your gimme kick might be a really close field goal. It ain't an extra point. So then now you don't have that easy gimme, practice run, but in real game. So like that affects your whole entire kicking, not just your extra points. Because you could get your kicks in, your swings in, your live reps on extra points. And then
It's like a warm up for a kicker for an actual field goal, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's warming up the kicker for whatever, for a game winning kick.
Yeah, and I think with the kickoff, we'll see if they. I don't know if the new kickoff rule was only in effect for 1 year or if it was just it's the new rule. It's okay, I guess. The one thing I do think they need to, and I know I don't know if it's the UFL or whatever, they're gonna try like a 4th and whatever instead of an onside kick. I actually think they should just switch back to the onside kick, but you can get a running start like they used to be able to do, because I think the concussion thing, saying like that the concussions are down on kickoffs, all this stuff. I think that's all fine and dandy, but I also think I think that's just a publicity stunt. I think it's shenanigans, and like, it's a violent sport, but you can't like now. I say this as the Chicago Bears got an onside kick with the rules against the Vikings this year, but I'm pretty sure that was either the only one or only one of two that happened all year, and it's just the percentage chance of getting an onside kick when you don't have the running head start like you do now, ever since they changed the rule, is like astronomically lower than when you had the running head start. You could get it. They did take out probably my favorite ever play is the surprise onside kick, which
Yes.
those are always awesome to see. We won't ever see
Yeah.
those again, which is a
I miss that.
huge disappointment. But
Well,
you
the
can't. Well,
thing is,
it's the fourth quarter now, or it has to be the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, and you have to be trailing, and you have
yes,
to
it's
announce
stupid,
it.
I think.
You have to
Yeah.
announce it, and
It's like what?
you would still have to announce it, but at least you get a running head start.
The play that defined Sean Payton and his era in New Orleans was that onside kick after halftime in the Super Bowl, and they got it. And that they took away even anything that could possibly happen off of that. I don't like that rule at all. That was a bad rule change. Um, I wish they would change that back.
Well, yeah, and besides maybe Devin Hester returning the
Yeah.
opening kickoff, but they ended up losing, and that was a boring Super Bowl against the Colts. Just because I
Hmm.
think that was in Miami, but it was raining, so it was just a bad weather Super Bowl. But I think as far as like maybe special teams, but 100% like a kickoffs, like that Sean Payton surprise onside kick play is the most iconic uh,
Yeah.
in Super Bowl history, as well as, I mean, that's like one of the more iconic plays in Super Bowl history, just because of that changed the momentum of the game. And like, yeah, you got to have some balls to do that. I hate Sean Payton. That was a hell of a call to call it,
Yeah. It was ballsy.
because if you don't
It
get it,
was
you're getting Peyton Manning with great field position.
yes. To start the half
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah, start
after
the
the
half.
half there.
So
Yep. It's too bad they took it out. What are you
yeah,
gonna do?
I don't even know how we started on this.
I don't even know either. How'd we get here?
Oh,
We went down a path.
we don't ever know where we're going, but we always end up where we're supposed to be. Maybe.
Exactly. I like that line.
Maybe. All right, Andy, what's some other free agent news or well, I'll circle back when we talk. I know we're going to talk a little bit about Vikings Packers. I'll circle back to, well, you know what? Anything else big pickups from people or
I just got an
re-signings?
update on my phone for something.
Oh yeah. What'd you get? I did not get anything.
It's just Derek Carr making a lot of money, pretty much.
Derek Carr with who? The Saints?
Yeah.
Or, oh, really? I didn't get that yet.
Yep.
They re-signed him?
Seahawks apparently offered Geno a deal worth 35 to 40 million, but he countered with nearly 45, and then Seattle declined and talks
Traded him.
fell apart, and then then he got traded.
Oh, so he's probably gonna at least want a new contract. I think the way his contract was set up, though, if the Raiders have the cap space, I feel like he has 2 more years on his contract, but I think the way his contract is set up, I think he might have a really big cap hit. He might not be making a lot of money. I think he's making
Yeah,
30 to 35, but I think he's got a huge cap hit because they pushed it. And I think if the Raiders could eat it, they could just ride out the 2 years if they really wanted to, or they could make him happy and re-sign him.
that would
Because
work. Yeah.
it's always just a gamble because you could wait, but every year everyone is going to become more expensive if they do good. Like
That's true.
Jamar Chase is about to get. It doesn't even. I mean, he just had the best year like he's ever
He
gonna
could have
have.
had. Yeah.
Yeah. So
He
like,
They should have re-signed him last year.
yeah, because now he's about to be by far the highest paid wide
Yeah,
receiver. I think he
you can't let him go. Like,
no.
but you no. And they just signed T. Higgins on that franchise tag. He's getting what, like 20 mil this year, 25, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
getting a
It's
lot of
the
money.
second year in a row, so it's 25. It increases.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't even think they have the cap space unless Joe Burrow pushes some of his cap out. But they might honestly. They have to either work. I think they gotta either. I mean, they could let him ride if they can make the cap space. Otherwise, they gotta trade him, or re-sign
do
him.
something.
But I mean, Chase is. I would not be surprised if Chase signs like 40 mil a year average value
Yeah, I could see
contract.
that. He deserves it. He might be wide receiver one for me.
Wow.
If I was to choose, I'd say he.
Uh I mean, uh, I would say Jefferson, but obviously I think he's probably the only other wide receiver you can make an argument in right now. I don't
Yeah,
think Tyreek Hill's out there anymore.
no.
I think he's still like probably one of the fastest people in the NFL, Tyreek, but I do think he's no longer as fast. As also, he might have lost a little some of his durability. I don't know if he was ever really that durable, but he was banged up a little bit. But I think he was always so much faster than everyone that it was just
It didn't
impossible.
matter. Yeah.
But now I think he's just a little faster than everyone, and I think that does matter. Jamar Chase and
Well,
Justin Jefferson
I'd
completely.
say you can make an argument that without Tua at quarterback for it was only like 6 games, but they didn't do much with anybody on that team. That offense was just inept without Tua. With like I think it
Oh,
was
for
Tyler
sure.
Huntley was there. Yeah. So that's so what would happen if you took Joe Burrow away from Jamar Chase? Would he do the same thing?
No, that's why I think Justin Jefferson's better.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson actually, that's a good argument. I just didn't realize that. He's done it with a bunch of people.
Kirk, um,
Kirk,
he did it with
Darnold.
Darnold. He did it with the Pastronaut last year. He did it with a
Yeah.
whole bunch of backups last year. He was hurt last year though
Yeah.
too, but he played 10 games, broke 1,000. You
That's
know,
still pretty damn good. Yeah.
he's like maybe one of five or whatever of breaking 1,000 every year of your first 5 years. I
Wow.
think it was Randy
That's
Moss,
impressive.
Mike Evans, him, AJ Green. I don't know if there's another one. I don't think there's another one.
AJ Green, that's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah, he he was really good, and then he, kind of he's similar to Justin, I mean similar to DeAndre Hopkins, where
Yep.
they're not super fast, and they never were. But the problem is once they start losing a step, they're like real slow, and then like they're good enough to beat you sometimes on their their play and their ability, but this they're you can only go so far when you can't get any separation.
Was Hopkins on the Chiefs last year when they won the Super Bowl? So he got a ring.
No, no, nope, nope, nope. Just this year.
No, he didn't. Just this year? Okay. That's unfortunate. I want to see him get a ring. He was great for a long time.
Yeah, yes, he was. Uh yeah, I think I don't know, we'll see. I think there'll be some good wide receiver play this year. I think there's a lot of good young wide receivers in the NFL. I think trying to think who could be someone who steps up next year. There's a lot of good wide
So,
receivers on bad teams though too.
this is kind of getting into the free agent things. DK is coming to Green Bay. I'm calling it. He's coming to Green Bay.
I can see it. Do you guys think he'll actually do something like that? Your front office? Yeah?
Yes. They've always. So, there's a key spot where any Packers free agent or trade or any like big name that comes to Green Bay, it's like between 25 and 29 years old. They typically don't sign people that are older than that or trade for people like past their prime or something like Charles Woodson, who's like 27, 28.
Mm-hmm.
DK's 27 now. Um, Xavier McKinney, Josh Jacobs, 26, 27. Reggie White was probably
He was up there.
the lone exception back in, what was it, 97, 98, something like that, or
Yeah,
maybe
but
it was even sooner than
he
that.
still played a good amount of years on the Packers. He had a long career.
Yeah, he had a long career, but I mean that was almost 3 decades ago. But
Yeah.
anybody recent, they'll sign. They pick players in their prime that they know are doing well, and typically are like 1 year removed of like a great season.
Hmm.
Typically, they had a down year, like Josh Jacobs last year
Yeah.
when he was on Raiders, he was down. Xavier McKinney, he was down. Preston Smith, when we signed him, he was down. He did great for the Packers for a while. Yeah, all of those. Preston Smith and the other one. What's the other Smith brother?
What do you think he's worth? What do you think DK's
DK?
worth? Yeah. What are you giving up for him?
Oh,
What are you willing to give up for him?
I think they'd give up a second. They're not giving up a
No,
first, that's
I
for
don't think
sure.
he'd be. I don't think he'd be a first. Second, I think
I
is decent because I think he's.
I think they'll give up a second, maybe a third, and probably like Romeo Dobbs or Dontavian Wicks.
Yeah, I think DK. I mean, I would hate that because I think that's like a very interesting and very good, um, good opportunity
Well,
for the Packers for DK and for Jordan Love. I think that he would be a very good.
so
I've always liked him. He's he sometimes has got the drops. He's sometimes but when he could take he could be streaky. He could take over a game and then he could like disappear. But
yeah,
he's a freak too, which is always
yeah.
nice.
Well, they always have those freaks. Like I mentioned a few episodes back here, they always have like the MVS on the team, the Christian Watson on the team, the Jordy Nelson when he was fast as hell. They always have somebody that can just take that top off the defense. That's just a staple of that offense. It's what they've always done. It's what they'll continue to do.
Yeah.
They always have one of those players. And Christian Watson, I don't even know if he's going to play next year. Who
Yeah.
knows with him?
He's I don't know, man. He's like always hurt.
Yeah.
He's
So,
I think his rookie year was a pretty good indicator of like his career. Like the very
yes.
first play of the season, he streaks down the sideline against the Vikings, and he's
Yeah.
wide open, and then he drops the ball, and
It was
then I think he.
so open.
Oh yeah, it was like whoa, Mike! You would have started the season with a bang. It would have been like a 70-something yard touchdown, and
Yep. His
then
first play of the season.
yep, and then I think he got hurt a little bit.
He gets hurt like
And then
every other
he also had a game where he had
game.
like three touchdowns or something like that.
It was yeah, a few weeks later, or not a few weeks, it was probably like 10 weeks later. But he had a game with 3 touchdowns, a game with two, and
Yeah.
then another game with two, like all in a string. He had a period of like 7 or 8 touchdowns, and it was just nuts. Everybody dropped in fantasy, and then people are rapidly trying to pick him back up and trade for him.
This guy. I, ha-
He did.
I drafted him. I'm like, I think he's actually gonna be pretty good. And then I didn't. And then I had him. I'm like, dude, this dude. I thought he was gonna be good. Dropped him.
You bench him, yeah,
Yeah,
and then
I benched him. Then I dropped him. I'm like, I'll just use the raw spot. And then he started going off. I'm like, are you kidding? I did not have the waiver wire in my favor to pick him up. And I was like, you leave it to a Packer to screw me.
yeah. But to summarize, I think they're gonna go heavy after DK.
It'd be
If they
interesting.
don't get him, they'll go after somebody else that has that speed beside him. Maybe Tyreek Hill, like you said.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe Tyler Lockett. Now that he's
yeah,
released,
yeah,
he's he's up there, but he's still fast as hell too.
yeah.
There's a lot of people that are just getting cut, getting dropped left and right all of a sudden.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I think yeah, I think Tyler Lockett, I don't know if he would I think you'd be better off like going really trying to get DK or I mean training for Tyreek if you really wanted to too. Uh but I think Tyler Lockett is in the stage of his career where he's like more of like a number 2 or a number. I mean, I think he's always been kind of basically he's got to be a number 2, but I think he's even more
That's a
like
good
a number
idea.
3ish now. And I think that's not what you really need. I think
No,
I personally think the Packers have really good number 2 wide receivers and number
I agree.
3s. You don't have a number 1
Yeah,
right now. You need a number 1. You need a DK.
Yeah.
I'm on the DK. I'm not on the train. I'm like throwing eggs at it because I want it to stop. But I'm on the DK to Packers train, Andy. That would be great for you guys. Be horrible, but
Yeah,
it'd be great.
that's what I think is going to happen. And then maybe a couple other free agents. They got some money to spend this year, so I want them to go after like Chase Young to just solidify that defensive line there. He's 25 years old.
Yeah.
He's still got that game-wrecking ability, and he doesn't need to be the only one.
Mm-hmm.
Rashawn Gary's there. They got Lucas Van Ness there. Um, there's also Deo. I don't even know how to say this guy's name. The guy from the Colts, the defensive end there.
Mm-hmm.
He's 25, coming off of a down season, but I still think he has it. They scouted him big time still when he was drafted. They brought him in for an interview and everything.
Really?
Um,
Okay.
those are some of the free agents that I want the Packers to go for. Maybe Asante Samuel Jr. I think he
Yeah.
would be awesome. They need a corner too. I don't think Jair's going to stay in Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I want to see him stay,
You
but
do.
yes,
I think he's
I love
overrated.
watching that dude.
I think he's
I
overrated.
think he's great.
I think he's
Well,
good when he wants to be good, and I just don't think he
I
always wants to be. And well, I would say the past 2 years, I don't know if he's worth what you guys are paying him solely based on injury, because he's
yeah,
only played so
he's
many. You're paying him a freak load of money, but he's only played.
yeah,
He hasn't played like a remotely close to a full season the last 2 years, and I think your best attributes your availability, and he's just not available. I think
yeah.
that's
I would
like
agree.
that's like the big thing because he is very talented when he can play. It's just how much you want to pay somebody who's going to pay 10 to 12 games a season. You know?
I don't know. I really hope he comes back. It's gonna break my heart a little bit to see him leave. Yeah, he's making a lot of money this year. Let me pull it up. I was just looking at it. I think he's due like 23 million this year or something like that.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money
Yeah.
for a corner.
So his total value, he signed an $84 million contract. I think that was for 4 years.
Yeah, that's a lot of money though.
Yeah, he's due a lot of money. So hopefully he can come back and oh man, it's gonna be tough seeing him this year or leave.
Yeah. What about is there any players you that the Packers should resign or Packers maybe that they should cut that they haven't cut yet or that you
Not
want to improve
There's
on
really
or
not too much. Like free agency, there's really Josh Myers I would want to re-sign.
hmm
AJ Dillon, he's pretty much good as gone.
yeah.
Um, Eric Stokes, he has not been what we
The,
want him to
the
be.
Actually,
Yeah,
you guys
Corey
should
Ballantyne,
keep Eric Stokes. Justin Jefferson loves him.
he toast him. Yeah, he gets manhandled by him. They re-signed their kicker McManus, who did pretty good for him last season, although
Yep.
he's 34 this year. So we're gonna need one long term.
He actually did really good
Um,
once you guys picked him up. He
yeah,
was
he
real
really
good.
did. They re-signed one of their safeties, Zane Anderson.
Okay.
He did pretty good. He's still pretty young, but he came in and played well. Didn't play too much. Only looks like 11% of the snaps played, but he was good. Eric Wilson looks like he's an undrafted free agent, but he also didn't play too much.
Eric
So we'll
Wilson.
see. Yep.
How many years is
There's really
I feel like Eric
Go
Wilson's a
ahead.
former Viking.
He is 31 years old,
Yeah,
so
he's a former
he's
Viking.
been around for a bit. But yeah, I would want to re-sign Josh Myers. That's about it. That's the biggest one. Everybody else can go kick rocks. Sorry, sorry, people, but they didn't show anything.
Yeah, that's easy.
But yeah, they got a pretty core team still. Gonna keep it the same. Kind of go from there. They got that offense is gonna be together for a while. Besides losing Christian Watson next year, I mean I think he's still hurt. I think he didn't he tear his ACL into the season.
He did something. He yeah he did he yeah didn't he like come back and then get hurt again like badly?
Yeah. Well, he did a thing last year. where he was examining his quadriceps because he was injured so much. He went to, I think it was like Brazil, and they were examining him, and one of them was like 2 inches longer than the other one. So he just kept tearing this one because his stride was just completely different.
Oh, that's strange.
Yeah, so he's been trying to grow his quadricep or something this offseason or last offseason now, and
Oh,
obviously it didn't
did
work
it
because
happen?
he was hurt again. Yeah, but he tore his ACL in November this year, so he's out
Ah,
for a while. Yeah,
he's probably
he'll be out.
November. He's probably missing
It's late in the
at least
season,
at
yeah.
least he might be. Yeah, he's probably missing a couple games.
He's missing a few games, I think, but we'll see. He's got to come back and show that he can do it on a consistent basis, and then they might re-sign him for a longer contract. But at this point, I don't see him staying around long term. And as we saw late in the season, they do need that game-changing speed by somebody. Their offense was pretty inept without him.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to go after somebody, and I really hope it's DK. Either
Okay.
that or they're going to draft somebody that's really freaking fast, but we'll get there.
Yeah. Interesting.
What about the Vikings? What do you think the Vikings are going to do? They got a lot of stuff going
So
on
we
this
got
season.
a lot of well, I think I think Sam Darnold's not coming back, which is fine. Uh, I think it's JJ McCarthy time. I think so. We did bring in Daniel Jones. I would be okay if we signed him as like competition quarterback or backup, but I'd
Uh-huh.
also be interested in maybe not signing him and seeing what he would get with somebody else just for con- uh to go towards the or compensatory picks for next year, because I think Sam's gonna guarantee us a third as long as
Yeah.
uh, we don't spend too much. But I think Daniel, if he gets, depending who wants to pay him, he could get some decent money as far as like a QB competition or something. But I would be fine with bringing him in as a competition. Uh, you know, Start a couple games or just be a backup and a high end backup. I'm completely fine with that. We have a boatload, unlike the Packers. We have a boatload of free agents. Cam Robinson, we traded for him once in against the Rams in the what was that 6 week. Uh, like Christian Darrisaw, our starting left tackle, one of the better left tackles in the league. He tore his ACL. Hopefully, I actually haven't heard much about his recovery, so I'm hoping everything's good with that. But he's gone. He actually should garner a pretty good amount of money in free agency, so that should help out. We do have a lot of money in free agency, so we should be spending a lot. So hopefully, those picks, people leaving, and people us signing people, they kind of trade off. We do have a situation with Byron Murphy and Cam Bynum. Now, all talks that or all like what I've heard is that Cam Bynum, and this is just via other podcasts and what people are reporting, is that Cam Bynum's probably out because he's going to get. That the Vikings have a limit on what, this is what we'll give you. If you get more, you know, go get it then. And I think someone's going to offer Cam up there in the high teens. And I think that's going to be a little bit too rich for us. And I have heard that we're trying to get Byron Murphy, the corner, back. I actually, since I would be hesitant to pay him top tier corner money. He's been okay. Last year he had a really good year, but also it's just I'm not wild about paying him high end corner money. I'd way rather us go after like a Carlton Davis or a DJ Reed. I really would like. DJ Reed's 28, so he's getting up there in age, but I think he's probably the best cover free agent. He's big. He is a willing tackler. I think he'd fit really good in the Brian Flores defense. So and I think he is probably similar to, probably would get less than Byron Murphy. So I'd be on top of that. Carlton Davis, I think would be quite a bit of a cheaper option. And that's fine. it would really determine how they see the draft going. I would absolutely love for us to pick up Jonathan Allen, who just got cut by the Commanders. He's up there in age, but I think he would be amazing as an interior pass rusher and like a rotation, as well as he does. Since he got cut, he doesn't count towards the compensatory calculation. So I'm like all for trying to draft or sign some of these guys who got cut.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think he'd be really good. If he doesn't, either that or I would be really on trying to get DJ or not DJ Milton Williams from the Eagles. I'd be willing to give him some good money to see he's young and just give him a good contract, and he played very good in the Super Bowl. He was on a rotation, and I'm fine with drafting a D tackle. This is a deep class, so whether it's early or late, as well as signing a Milton Williams or a Jonathan Allen as well, or Williams, or yeah, Jonathan. Is it Jonathan Allen? Yeah, Jonathan Allen, and then signing another D tackle, or making sure we draft one, just to start building up that rotation, because we have a very good rotation for our pass rushers in Jonathan Grenard, Andrew Van Ginkel, and Dallas Turner. I think that's a very, very good. You got a first team All Pro, and you got a Pro Bowler, and then you got a guy coming off his rookie season. I think we slow played Dallas Turner's involvement as well as just snap count because of how good Jonathan Grenard and Andrew Van Ginkel were playing. I think it was not on Dallas Turner, as well as I sneaky think that Dallas Turner has the ability to be and athleticism to be a linebacker that is a pass rusher as well as a very good coverage linebacker, where he could fill a role in a Brian Flores defense where he's like a hybrid player, where he's on the field, but you just don't know what he's actually going to do. Because he's not just a pass rusher. He could be a lot of things, and I think that's really what that's like Josh Metellus, where he plays safety, he plays outside linebacker, inside linebacker, defensive end, slot corner, defensive tackle, gets snaps everywhere just because he's a freak. And
He's
just
a
because
Swiss Army knife. Yeah.
And I think the more you can have, the more ambiguous your defense can be, where you don't know who's doing what. Makes it way harder for offensive coordinators and way harder for quarterbacks. But I do want us to lean heavy into the trenches. I think we should go after some guards. I would love Will Fries from the Indianapolis Colts, as well as I think he's really good. I think he's been hurt as like a Tevin Jenkins, but I think I think we have to get one of these corners or one of these guards. We have to, and I'd be even more happy if we double dipped and we got like a Will Fries or a Tevin Jenkins or one of these younger guys on a longer deal, and then maybe we signed one of these older veterans like a Zeitler on like a 1-year deal. He's up there in his mid 30s, but we could, we just stopgap it, or like a Brandon Scherf. Some of these guys are older, long in the tooth, but they're still good. They bring a veteran presence. So I think that could be, at least interesting. And I really think it's gonna, we got so many people we're losing in free agency.
It's gonna be a rough offseason for the Vikings, I think.
Yeah, we'll see. Like Aaron Jones, I don't know if he's gonna be back. I think we bring back either Aaron Jones or Cam Akers, one of them, and then we have to draft a running back. I think I'm really hoping.
It's a pretty deep running back class, I think you have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we find someone who's willing to trade with us for our first round pick, that we trade either back into the end of the first or into the early second, pick up some maybe day 2 or an extra day two pick. So even like a, a third, an extra third, or we get some fourth and fifth round picks, just so we could have a little, just because we do have so few picks. So I think we should really try to get some picks, because I think the value in running back is in the second and third round. I mean, obviously, you know, Gianti's amazing, but I think there's a lot of depth in that second and third round for running backs, which is just, there's a lot of good running backs this year in the draft. And then corner, I think Stephon Gilmore is probably going to retire. It's just what I'm
He's
thinking.
getting up there.
Yeah, I think he's 35. That's old for a corner. He's still playing good. I mean, if you wanted to come back, I'd be okay as long as the price is right. I would. Shaq Griffin's leaving. I would sign Shaq Griffin again to be like a third corner, on a reasonably cheap deal. We got Blackman coming back from an ACL. He tore it the first or second day of training camp last year, which was horrible. He was probably going to be one of our starting corners. That's actually why we ended up signing Stephon Gilmore late. So that'll be interesting. And then we got a lot of okay players that are, you know, not going to get a lot of money. We did re-sign Theo Jackson and he's a safety
Yeah.
he's been our fourth quote unquote safety, but I actually think he's probably going to fill that Cam Bynum role. I am hoping Harrison Smith's got one more year in him and he doesn't retire, because I would love to have Harry back. And I think if Harry comes back, you got Theo Jackson, then you could keep Metellus at that hybrid role, because we played with three safeties boatload last year, and with Metellus being the third safety, if we had to move him back to a traditional safety role, I think that's just kind of hamstringing him and Brian Flores' defense. So I think if
Yeah.
Harry does come back, we'll have Theo Jackson, who I think is probably ready to retire, or probably ready to be a starter and see how good he is, because I do think he's been very good in the limited amount of snaps he's gotten. And then the rest, whatever, just sign some
They
of
can
them.
kick rocks too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean most of them are depth players.
Yep.
Nothing
Nothing
wild.
special. So it sounds like the Vikings have a lot to do, to put it
hmm
simply.
I
Um,
think we're not in a horrible position. We're not in
they
a
got a lot of cap room.
yeah, we're not in a
Yeah.
we got a lot of moves that we're gonna have to make, which is always you know something. But I think it's JJ McCarthy time, baby.
Yeah. I think it's time to see what he's got. He's been waiting for a while.
hmm
So, or
No,
Aaron Rodgers.
I would just be so distraught. He's he's just so different than like Brett
You'll
Favre.
know the Aaron, yeah, you'll know the Aaron Rodgers experience. Telling you, man, it's gonna happen.
No,
It's gotta happen. Um,
it definitely does not.
what about the Seahawks? They got all sorts of shit going down over there. They're gonna be in quite the situation here once they trade Metcalf away. They don't got a quarterback. They just got Tyler Lockett. They don't got a quarterback. Their best receiver is the one they just drafted a few years ago, Jackson Smith and Jigba. I don't know who their second receiver is now.
Yeah, me neither.
Um, I think they still got Kenneth Walker and Zach
Yep.
Charbonnet there.
Yeah,
So
that's a good 1-2 punch for sure.
yeah, they're gonna have to lean on that run game next year. Without Gino, I don't. Maybe they'll get Sam Bradford
Sam Darnold.
and yeah, Darnold. I've done that last time too. Um,
Too many Sams.
yeah, there is
Yeah,
too many Sams.
I think they should go after Sam Darnold. I think they will. I think that's all part of the plan.
Or they could trade for somebody else. Kyler Murray, what if he's going somewhere? Could you see him being moved?
Uh yeah, possibly. I
D-
mean, I
Does
I just don't. He's just so weird. He's
does
such a.
he need to change his scenery? Is Arizona really treating him right down there?
I think he's a good player that it just doesn't matter. There's something about him that he'll never live up to the expectation of who he could probably be. And I think that's I think it's partial mental,
Yeah,
but I also do think it's partial like physical. I think there is a limit on how short statured you could be, and he's I'm pretty sure he's all of five
he's
ten.
short. Yeah. So I think of him like I think of Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
That is his ceiling. Baker
yeah.
Mayfield, what he did this season is Kyler Murray's ceiling. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
They're both small statured quarterbacks. They both just win games somehow. Well, not so much in the NFL, but that's what they did in college. And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and I
that's
think
that's what I think about it.
yeah, it'll be interesting. There's gonna be it's always interesting every year because there's teams that you think are gonna be good who aren't good, and teams that you don't think. I could see Arizona, like when the Vikings played them. I think they might be defensively. I think their defensive play calling I thought was a great, and I thought what they were doing last year with their defense was similar to how the Vikings were last year in Brian Flores' first year, in that he was putting out some good defensive play with not a lot of players and not a lot of skill on defense. And I think that's what the Cardinals were doing last year. They had a lot of good games with playing good defense with like no one of note playing on that defensive side.
Yeah,
Um, they might,
they
they
Buda
had,
Baker.
yeah,
That's it.
they had some good players, but they don't have. And I think if they can go and get a couple guys on defense, that I think the way they were playing and calling their defensive plays, they could be someone who could like shock you next year just because if you get some talent on that team and on that defense could be really good.
Yeah. Let's
So
see. I think they could be a sleeper team next year. Everybody seems to forget about them. They don't have kind of great game-changing players, but Marvin Harrison Jr., man, I he's a freak. He could do very well, I think, on any team. And if they start getting him the ball more and start producing like I think he's meant to at some point in his career, he could change that offense.
yeah.
Because they still got what was it, James Conner? He had a great year too.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good player. Um, I don't know their other receiver on the other side. Who was it? Wasn't
No.
Christian Kirk? He went from Arizona.
Yeah, I have no clue.
Yeah, but we'll see. There could be a sleeper team. I think the Rams are going to be good next season. They had a good season this year. They lose Cooper Kupp probably, but Puka, I think he can take over that number one role. It would be really funny is if Puka Nakua goes and gets the triple crown just like Cooper Kupp did when he first got there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could.
That'd be kind of funny to see, yeah. Because they don't got much receivers. They lost to Marcus Robinson this year in free agency. Um, Cooper Kupp, it doesn't look like he's staying in LA.
No. Yeah, it doesn't look like. Which
You know
is,
what's gonna happen?
we'll see.
Oh, well, Bill Belichick's out. I was gonna say Bill Belichick's gonna scoop him up on the Patriots. Because he always gets those like old white receivers.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be an interesting year next year. It'll be interesting to see what some of these teams that had down years look like. It'll be interesting to see what some of these teams that have always been bad if they can finally turn a corner. Like it'll be interesting to
I'm I'm really excited for the Patriots actually because they have
Patriots.
so much money. Like they're gonna do some crazy shit, I feel like. They have like $129 million in cap space, I think.
That is a lot of
It's
money.
like an absurd amount.
That's a lot of money.
125, sorry. And the next closest is the Chargers with 90.
Yeah. Holy shit. That's a lot of money.
That's what I mean. They got room to buy like all the free agents they want.
It'll be interesting
They could
too.
get Darnold.
You brought that up too. Is the Commanders will be interesting to see because they got a lot of cap space too.
Yes. Yeah. They had a good team. Jaden Daniels is on a rookie contract. Who did they just trade for too? They just traded for who was it?
Oh, Debo Samuel.
Yes. Commanders just traded for Debo Samuel. He's another. Get him the ball, man. Him and Scary Terry.
I was gonna say Scary Terry, him. That'll be a great combo. Debo was so disappointing last year, though.
Yeah, he was a different kind of player. I don't think he's the same player he used to be, but we'll
No,
see. I mean, he could still bring it back.
yeah, I mean that was partially, when he first broke out, that was one of the things that he was semi told the 49ers that he was against was how much they used him in his breakout year as a running back.
Yeah.
Just because running backs have shorter careers because they take way more of a beating.
Hmm.
And as a wide receiver, I can understand that. Hey, if I'm a wide receiver, I could play into my, at least if I'm as good as Debo, I can play into my, early 30s. If I'm a running back, I'm playing till like I'm 28, 29, and then I'm taking low end deals probably. You
Look at
know,
Todd Gurley. He
yeah,
had,
done. I mean, you can name off a lot of running backs. It's
yeah,
very rare that a running back is still going even like a Derrick Henry,
yeah.
and he's not even that old.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised he's still doing it.
Yeah,
He's one of the oldest running backs in the league now.
so that'll
But
be
yeah,
interesting.
Commanders, they got some money to spend. So we'll see how it goes. They could. What if they just revamp that whole defense there? Because I feel like that was their Achilles heel last year. If they can just stop a couple of those touchdowns,
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the NFC Championship game, was it championship game where they
Yep.
played? Yeah,
The
it
Eagles.
was where they played Philadelphia. They just stopped them a couple times. They
Yeah.
could have won that. They it could have been a rookie QB going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. They just they were trying to keep up. They were keeping up for a little bit, and then they just couldn't stop them. And it'll be interesting to see Philadelphia next year if Saquon can keep it up. I think if anyone can stay being a good running back, Saquon's into old
Yeah,
age.
I think.
Saquon's one of the running backs who could. And,
Yeah,
they got some they got good weapons on offense, and they're good in the trenches, which is unfortunate that they're in the NFC, but they're hey you gotta if you want to be the best, you gotta beat the best.
yeah. I mean, the Eagles, they're stacked. I was definitely wrong too. I thought that game was closer for some reason. I just looked it up.
Oh yeah, it was like
I
55 to
forgot.
22 or something.
Yeah, I thought it was closer. I thought it was like a high scoring game.
Well,
So I was looking at this the other day. One of the best games I think I ever remember is Kansas City versus the Rams. You remember
mhm.
that one?
Yeah, where it
It
was
was just an
like
absolute
yeah,
shootout.
yeah, it was like wasn't it like 40 something to 40 something?
It was up there. I
Yeah,
think it
like they
was more
just
than that. I think it was 50s.
it might have been yeah, where there was just no defensive play.
Yeah, it was
It was
just
just two
touchdown
offense.
after touchdown
Yeah,
after touchdown.
two masterminds just slinging.
I think it was like 2018, right? It was a while ago. Oh, yeah, it was 2018. We weren't even close. 54 to 51.
Jeez Louise.
There was 35 points scored in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's so crazy. That's I might have to rewatch that game just to watch it.
I know.
That's just
That was a hell of a game.
so yeah. If you like defense, you ain't watching that.
No, don't watch defense that game.
Yeah, that
Man,
must have been a wild.
Pat Mahomes with 6 touchdowns, Jared Goff with 4.
Well, they still in 18. Yeah, they still like they. Yeah, yeah, they
Yep.
did.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great game. I can't believe that. Yeah, Tyreek Hill with 10 catches for 2 touchdowns, Travis Kelce with 10 for 127, and Jared Goff, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Good for him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, hey, he's not a bad QB, that's for sure.
Yeah,
He's just he's not gonna ever be a top five QB, I think. But he'll be
no,
a top. He's a top tenner.
yeah, he's a good quarterback. Jared Goff, I'm happy to see him do good in Detroit. I'd say that's got to be one of the most even trades ever.
Oh yeah,
Jared Goff go, and then Stafford going to the Rams. Obviously, the Rams won the Super Bowl, so if you had to choose somebody, they would win the trade.
yeah,
But
yeah. But Jared Goff's been great in Detroit,
yeah,
so it's definitely
they just They just
played
had one
out.
of their best seasons ever.
Mm-hmm.
They have one of the best rushing attacks ever, and they have Jared Goff throwing the ball, who he's a great complement to that.
Yeah.
Inversely, and to play devil's advocate, is that one of the reasons you think Jared Goff could be so good is because of that
Oh,
dominant
100%.
run game?
It'll be
Yep.
interesting this year without oh my god, what's the what
Montgomery and Gibbs.
no, the Ben Johnson. It'll be interesting to see
Oh, Ben Johnson.
him that offense. They have a great offensive line, they have a great running game, but it'll be interesting to see them without Ben Johnson. It'll be interesting to see Ben Johnson in Chicago. But it will be interesting to see how Detroit does with losing both their coordinators. That's huge. And both their
Yeah,
coordinators calling plays where they're one of the teams that their head coach isn't calling plays. So that's
really.
yeah. So because they lost Aaron Glenn, their defensive coordinator, and they lost
Yep.
Ben Johnson, their offense coordinator. Both of them calling plays. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, how they go about,
Calling
as a
plays.
team.
Yeah. Who's calling them now? Looks like they hired John Morton as offensive coordinator, and Kelvin Shepard was promoted to defensive coordinator. I don't know who either of those guys are.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, we'll see. That'll be a interesting team to watch too next year to see how they do. Um, feel bad for the Bears. They just suck so bad. Sorry, Bears
Yeah,
fans. They're just in a bad place. They had so much hope for Caleb Williams this season.
yeah. He
And
he
they
he
had
showed flashes. I
he
actually
did.
just I just don't see him. He is. I should just say he is such a different quarterback uh who were we just talking about for the Detroit.
Jared
Jared
Goff.
Goff. Yeah, he's such a different quarterback than Jared Goff that like Jared Goff is an on schedule, quick. Let me make a quick decision. Like, tell me what I got to do. Let's do it, Ben. Whereas Caleb is like let's play some backyard football. I'm gonna run around. I'm gonna make something happen. You guys run your routes, but then get off of them and try to get open. And like that'll be interesting to see how Ben Johnson works with them. I mean, it could be good because I think they're both talented as an offensive play caller and as a quarterback. Caleb's got the talent there. He showed the flashes of talent. But it'll be interesting if Ben Johnson can rein some of that, freestyling in. And, you can't just always be freestyling unless you're,
Yeah.
one of the better quarterbacks ever or just, you can't just be doing that. It just won't work. The NFL, the players are too fast and too strong. And they watch too much tape to just always.
Yeah. They'll figure out your tendencies. If you see one player in front of you, you always roll right, they'll figure it out. They'll send somebody to that right side.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing you know, you're running into a brick wall, and then you're sacked, as like the 60 other times he was this season.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Well, and they. I wish the Vikings would have done. They trade for two guards, or they signed a guard, and I would. Why are the Vikings not doing this? Which good for them. Hell, like they upgraded that O line real quick. They
Yep.
saw it that was a problem. They're like, we're gonna fix it, and good on them. Which sucks because I wish the Vikings would do that, but good on them. They're like, we're gonna fix it, and we're putting resources in.
Yeah, they traded for Kansas City's Joe Thunley and
Jonah
Los
Williams, right?
Angeles Jonah Jackson. Yeah.
Jonah Jackson. Two, pretty good guards. Like
Yeah.
they ain't no run of the mill guards. So like, good on them. I think Jonah was
They
hurt.
still need, yeah, they still need a center, apparently. Their offensive center, and there's a potential upgrade at left tackle they could use. They got Braxton Jones on the left tackle side. Um, he's coming off of a broken fibula, it looks like.
Eesh, sounds horrible.
Yeah, in the final month of 2024. So
Oh,
that
that's
kind of
horrible.
sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a fifth round pick. I don't
Mm,
know if he's uh maybe
yeah.
built for
Yeah.
starting left tackle in the NFL, especially after a broken fibula. You remember
Hmm.
Brian Bulaga? That's what happened to him.
Yeah.
Joe Thunley, he's a great guard though.
Mm-hmm.
Center, they have no idea who it is. Center remains pretty much the glaring hole on their offensive line. It looks like they have Drew Dahlman, considered the top free agency center. Oh, so he's just a target actually. They might put Jonah Jackson at center actually.
Really?
They got yeah.
I
Apparently he
think
used to play it, so
I think if they could swing it and the draft falls that way, you know, draft one of the top centers in like the second round. I don't
yeah,
think there's
they're gonna
any.
need to.
I don't think the center. There's no center that's like first round worthy this year. But I mean, either get a guard or get a center.
There's got to be some centers in free agency too.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they still got a lot of money. They got a rookie quarterback, so
yeah, they got
they
money.
gotta have some money. Yeah, they got 45 million in cap space. So it could be more, could be worse.
Mm-hmm.
They really don't have too many people on big contracts either, it looks like. Montez Sweat is the biggest one with a cap hit of 25 mil this year.
Oof.
And DJ Moore, Jalen Johnson, Tremaine Edwards. And then it starts to get under there. Joe Thunley, he's got 16 million due this year. But
Oh yeah.
Kansas City's probably eating part of that.
You'd think it would probably depend on the draft compensation. Like,
That's true.
give them a better pick if they eat, or give them a worse pick if they don't eat any of it.
Yeah. Yeah. The NFC North, we pretty much covered all of them.
Yeah, surprisingly. Yeah, I think Lions. They just gotta get some more. They just gotta go after some defensive players and just some depth. I mean, it's hard to tell. Without being a Lions fan and without like researching them crazy. Um, just because they had so many injuries last year, it would have been it would have been very, very, very interesting if they didn't have so many injuries last year. How they would have been. I do think they do need some D line help. Because once Aiden Hutchinson went down, obviously Aiden Hutchinson's an absolute freak
Yeah.
and a monster. But once he went down, guys stepped up, but there's a clear drop, as well as a lot of times what can happen is like when you got some backup players starting to play, they could step up, but they can't step up every play, every game. They're backups for a reason. They're not meant to be your full time starter. And I think if I was them, I would try to get one of the an edge rusher or one of those interior defensive linemen who could get a rush. But I'd probably go with another edge rusher if you can't get one in free agency.
I'd agree. They got to get something, I think. Just to more so have a body there.
Yeah,
'Cause you're not going to do good if nobody's playing. I can
for
tell you
sure.
that.
Yeah.
Let's kick it over to the AFC. Let's go with AFC West. Or AFC North is the one I'm thinking of. Let's go. What do you think the Ravens are going to do next season? I think they keep their core players. Um, I'm not sure what their needs
Ravens,
are or anything.
Ravens. I think they just got to get some. They got to get some defense. Work on that
Yeah.
defense. Maybe get. I feel like for some reason they always have weird wide receivers. But I also think that might just be a symptom of their offense, having Lamar and having Derrick Henry now too. But I do think
Yep.
they can sometimes struggle stopping teams on offense. So I think I would probably go heavy defense.
I think I would too. They have Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins as their cornerbacks. They could use another one there. They're good. I don't know if they're great. They got edge rushers as Kyle Van Noy, um,
Who's up there?
Uday, Udef Owe. I don't know how to say his name. Sorry, dude. Um, Malik Harrison is apparently an undrafted free agent. Kyle Hamilton, he's a great safety.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know anybody else on their safety team. It's kind of hard to say. I don't know much other players on their team there. They got Michael Pierce on their defensive line. Roquan Smith is still very good though. I will give him that.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully he continues to produce. I like watching him. He's a good person to watch.
Yeah.
He's always fun. But yeah, I'd agree. They need some major help on defense. I'd say cornerback is one of their biggest needs. Maybe offensive tackle too. But I think they just re-signed Ronnie Stanley, didn't they?
Yep. Yeah, it's a real big contract.
Yep. So he got paid. So that's good for him. But they need some major help at cornerback and edge rusher. So hopefully they'll look for that in the draft or they, maybe free agency too. Um, they got some big needs. What do you think about the whole Miles Garrett situation? What if Miles Garrett makes a big splash and goes to like a very big contender like the Ravens?
I
Is
don't
that a
think he's going.
possibility?
No, the
No,
Browns
not
aren't.
at
The
all.
Browns aren't going to trade him in division.
Oh yeah, that's true. They got to trade him.
Yeah, no, he's going to probably an NFC team, but he wants to go to a
Ooh,
team that could win.
like the Packers?
A team that could win.
Yeah,
You set yourself up for that, baby. Uh,
I did. What if he goes to like the Eagles? No,
I
I
know. I
can't say
thought
that.
about that. That'd be
Oh man,
horrible.
that scares me.
That'd be horrible.
That's
Horrible.
that'd be terrifying. They already have a good defensive line, and then throw in Miles
If I
Garrett in there.
Yeah, if I was the Commanders, I'd give them a call.
Oh, Commanders? What if
The
they get
only thing,
Chase Young back and him?
yeah, the only thing is he's going to. You're going to be trading a lot. And you're going to be probably giving him a new contract. I mean,
Yeah.
he's probably he's probably there's a good chance he could fetch
He could break the
two
market.
first. He could fetch two first rounds too. He's he's good. He's
I
very
think
good.
in the Brown situation, they need to get a lot for him because they're not going to be good this season or next season with that Deshaun Watson contract still.
Yeah, no.
Um, they
They
need to
need
prepare beyond that.
yeah, they got to be game planning for 2 or 3 years down the road. I think you try to trade him for get two firsts, maybe I don't know. You give back a fourth and you get like a third too, or you get a fourth, or you get a fifth and a fifth or something. Try to get those two first, and then maybe try to get something else, or maybe more
Yeah.
picks or whatever. And then if you got the number 2 pick this year, do you draft a QB? Maybe. I'm not wild about this year's QBs. You need a QB, because it's just bad. Deshaun's. I mean, I would just give up on Deshaun. I would. I mean, you screwed yourself for years to come. But
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's you just. I probably would skip QB this year, and I would take whoever's, your best player available. One of just I would just take best player available and just would not take a QB this year. You're probably going to be horrible
Yep.
again. You'll have two firsts next year. You're probably going to be picking in the top 5. If you really had to, you got extra ammo to move up a couple picks to get the number 1 QB. But the QBs this year are just not doing anything really for me. I think there's some. I think there's a handful of first rounders this year, and there's a lot of second rounders and a lot of third
Yep.
rounders that are gonna. There's gonna be second rounders that are getting drafted in the second round. There's gonna be second rounders that are getting drafted in the first round though too, and there's gonna be second rounders that are gonna be drafted in the third round. But because I think that this year's deep, but very top top light, and that there's not a lot of blue chippers.
I see that. Yep. If I was the Browns, I would try to get players that are going to sign a long-term contract in like 1 or 2 years, like 1 or 2 years pro. Try to get some of those players, trade for them
Mm-hmm.
somehow, and then plan for like 2026 or 2027. Plan for that to be your season where you actually can go and try to win games. This season is lost. At this point, ride the Jameis Winston train just because he's fun as
Yeah.
hell to watch and see what happens.
Yeah, it's because it's hard with that Deshaun Watson contract. It's just being fully guaranteed. You can't move any of the money around, and he's just so bad.
Yeah.
He just
That
he's not getting he's not loose anymore. He's not getting his
no,
massages.
that's what he needed.
Yeah,
That's what made him good. Is his massages. He was loose as
something.
a goose.
That's what I'm saying. Same with
That trade kneecapped him though. Yeah,
yeah, I know. Same with Justin Tucker.
Justin Tucker too. Yeah, he's another thing the Ravens got to figure out because I don't think he's playing again.
Yeah, I don't know. And he's arguably
They need a kicker.
I know, and he had a really down year this year. But
Yeah,
he's arguably the best kicker in NFL history.
yeah. Percentage wise, he is.
Mm-hmm. But he had a very down
Percentage
year. It
wise,
was very
he's
weird to see him miss kicks because
yeah.
he was just always the guy. And then this year
He
was
was
weird.
automatic.
So we'll
Yep,
see.
he's sucks for him. Well,
Steelers, they're
he kind of did it
strange.
to himself. Steelers, who knows what they're doing? They got Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, and they don't know what's happening. I don't think they're probably going to draft a quarterback, throw another wrench in the mix, and
Yeah, they
who
just
knows?
they haven't had good QB play in a while. They're
No.
okay. I think Justin Fields is who he is. I think Russell Wilson's basically shot. He's a middle.
Yeah,
He's an upper teen uh ranking QB. On a good day.
he's like he's Geno Smith.
It's
That's what
probably
I
he's
think.
a little worse than Geno Smith in my book. Right, right now. I think I would take Geno Smith over Russell Wilson right now in a heartbeat. Like
Yeah,
11 times out
it's
of
kind
10.
of weird that whole draft class with Geno Smith because Baker Mayfield was there. Um, I think that was the same draft class,
No,
right? Where it
no,
wasn't? Oh, never
no. He
mind.
got he got drafted in the second round. That was the draft with EJ Manuel. EJ
Oh, EJ
Manuel was the only
Manuel.
only QB picked. He was picked like 16th by the Bills, which he was great. And then Gino got picked in the second, I think. Yeah, it's like he's like quite a bit older than Baker.
Damn, that was way off then. Never mind.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
Baker's the same draft as Josh Allen.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, Josh Allen. That was a good draft.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Geno's, damn, he's been around for a while. I didn't
Yeah,
realize how old this guy was.
yeah,
He was drafted with Cordell Patterson, DeAndre Hopkins with that draft.
yeah. He's a
Um,
vet.
yeah. Tavon Austin was the number 8 pick
Wow.
by St. Louis Rams before they moved to LA.
Yeah, that's dating ourselves. Me.
Darius Slay too. Robert Woods.
Oh.
Manti Te'o, remember him?
Yeah, yeah. Right. Jeez. I mean, that's probably one of the. Is that one of the last drafts where we're younger than everybody? How old's Gino?
I don't know. I was looking at the draft.
No, no, no. What year was it?
2013.
Oh, okay. No, we're way younger than. We're not really.
No, it's
That's pretty. That's pretty close to. Never mind. That's like actually pretty accurate. Shoot, we're old, man.
Yep. I was just telling my dad this earlier. I watched a player get drafted in the NFL and retire all while I was after college.
Yeah, right. Jeez. Yeah,
Actually, many players.
I know. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, he had an entire career. I forget who it was I was looking up, but crazy. Oh, what else we got? Any other free agents you wanna speak on?
Free agents. It'll be interesting. It's always just interesting to see where some of the top guys go.
Yeah,
Um, like Asante Samuel Jr. He's a free agent, right?
yep, he's a free
Top
agent.
corner. It's always interesting, and it's always interesting too to see um, you know, what
Evan
they're
Ingram's a free agent too. The
yeah,
Jaguars, I don't know what's going on there. Didn't they just cut Evan Ingram too and
Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk?
And
Yeah.
Christian Kirk's the freaking wide receiver who reset the market.
Yeah. I don't think he deserved it, but
No, he was like a third stringer on Arizona, and they signed him to like I think like 25. He was the highest. He was the highest paid wide receiver at one point.
yeah.
He got like that was
Christian
wild. He
Kirk.
destroyed it because then wide like if I'm anyone who's anybody, I'm like I am worth more than Christian Kirk. Like, well, what are you talking
Uh-huh.
about? Or maybe it wasn't 25, but it was like 20, and it was like I am definitely 5 million a year more than Christian Kirk. Like it's what a lot of wide receivers were probably saying.
Yeah, they're pretty pissed about that probably.
Yeah. So that was Jacksonville's like they're gonna.
Jacksonville, I'm telling you, Brian Thomas is gonna have like 150 catches for like 2,500 yards and 24 touchdowns next year.
He played pretty
He's the
good.
only one gonna get the ball. Yeah,
He was good. Yeah, he's gonna be yeah, you definitely get him in fantasy. Yeah, he's gonna be
they don't got
a
anybody else.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's gonna be a
like they don't
target
got a running
monster.
back.
Yeah, he's gonna be a
That's
target
it.
monster. It'll be interesting to see how Trevor Lawrence does too. Like if he'll
Yeah,
actually live up to
I don't think so. I mean, he's got one person to throw to, so
yeah. Yeah, right. So it's the
I don't
same
know what
but
they were
that's a
thinking.
yeah. But that's a similar talking point to like Justin Herbert
That's true. Yeah,
is like when are you like everyone always says you're really good, but what's going on? Like that's you know,
show me,
yeah, is he just like
show me
another
you're doing good.
is he just like another Kirk Cousins?
Yeah,
Like where
that's a good
he
comparison.
is good, but he's actually how good is he? Like is he actually winning? You know, because he is falling apart in the or he at least hasn't been able to show it in the playoffs and win a game and take over.
Yep.
But they'll be
Justin Herbert,
interesting.
he's interesting. I wish he would just like have a breakout season. I expected him to do great this season, to be honest.
Yeah,
I thought he would do. He did good. Lad
mm-hmm,
McConkey, he did amazing as a rookie. It'll be great to see
yeah,
what he can do next season too.
mm-hmm,
But I think they still need another weapon, maybe two, because Josh Palmer, I don't think he's that guy. Um, he's like a wide receiver three at this point. I didn't see him do much at all.
yeah, yeah. It's they'll be an interesting team to see how they do.
Yeah, with Harbaugh there, they got I think J.K. Dobbins is a free agent too. Who's their running back?
They'll probably they'll probably draft one. If I'm a
Yeah,
team and I don't draft a running back this year, I'm an idiot. Is in my book. If you're a team, draft a running back this year. Just draft them. There's too many good ones. Don't be one of the teams that don't.
yeah,
Doesn't matter even if you have a running back. You draft them. The running backs don't last that long. Like draft a running back if you're the Packers. Josh Jacobs, great year. How many more years? How old is Josh Jacobs? How many more years is Josh Jacobs going to be able to do what he did?
he's 26.
Probably the rest of his contract. What's his contract?
He
How much?
just resigned, right?
Yeah, I know, but how many years I meant.
Oh, I think it was four,
Yeah, so
3 or 4.
okay, so you got him for 4 years. He's got 3 left. Draft a rookie. Let him split the carries. They'll make Josh better.
Yeah,
And then
I agree.
then Josh is gone,
Uh-huh.
and then you got
Well,
the
they don't
rookie
really
still.
have a good backup right now.
Exactly.
Emmanuel Wilson is pretty good, but I don't know if he's able to take over that number one role good, because Jacobs was there all season, so he didn't really have an opportunity.
I just think
Um,
because you got running backs in this draft class that are just too good, and it's so deep. You got like your your thumpers, you got your speed guys, you got your all around running backs, you got your running backs that you know would be great as far as a committee, and then you got your like specialty, like he's only gonna do goal line, or he's only gonna be a pass catcher, or he's
yeah,
only gonna be your third down back, or he's only gonna be your early down back, or only on your your goal line back. But like, there's so many running backs that are good. I don't know. I want the Vikings to draft two, but we don't have enough draft picks to draft two. But if we get more draft picks, we're drafting two. If I'm
how many
crazy,
draft picks do they have then?
we got like 4 or 5. We have a first,
Ooh,
a third, I think a fifth and a
ooh,
seventh. Yeah,
ugh,
that's why I really want us to trade back in the first, try to get at
that makes
least
sense.
at
Yeah,
least maybe a third and a fourth. It'd be great if we could get like a second. I think we would definitely have to trade probably unless there's someone on the board that someone really wants. I think we would definitely have to probably trade out of the first to even remotely have a chance of getting a second. Um, but it would be cool to get like a second and fourth. We kick them our first and a seventh, or first and our fifth, or something. Or we kick them a fifth and they give us a seventh too, or something, just to get just to get more picks, more ammo.
yeah, they need to have
Um,
something.
yeah, So we'll see. It's just it'll be interesting. I don't know,
Do you
man.
think KC has a chance to repeat to the Super Bowl again?
No. Xavier
No?
Worthy
You
just
think?
just just got popped for
Oh, that's right.
domestic violence. Dude, I mean,
Receiver
what's
room
his
is
face?
exploding.
Yeah, and I'm not even gonna remember his name because he didn't play all year. Their other wide receiver who was really good when they
Rasheed
won the Super Bowl.
Rice.
Yeah, Rasheed. He was really good. I don't think he ever got suspended yet. So
Nope.
for causing that massive crash that killed people, right? So like
Yep.
he never got suspended. He's coming back from a major injury caused by Patrick Mahomes. But so we'll see. He's gonna probably have to get suspended for at least some amount of games. Or did he actually get suspended? I don't think he got suspended. I think he didn't get
I don't think he
suspended.
did yet. No. I think they
So
pushed it till this year.
yeah, and it might happen to Xavier Worthy. It might happen to, but there's something wrong in that culture or in that locker room that like they shouldn't be having this many problems with off season for players.
They did re-sign Hollywood Brown, I believe.
Okay, he was hurt for a
So,
lot of the year. I mean, he's pretty good.
yep,
He's not a one. He's a two.
I agree. DeAndre Hopkins, I don't think he's there anymore.
No.
I think he signed a 1 year deal. So
Yeah.
they got Travis Kelce, who knows if
He's.
he's coming back or not.
I think he did say he was coming back.
He did? Okay.
I believe so, but I don't. I think he's slowing down. I don't think
I
he's
think he's
got a.
slowing down, but I don't know, man. He's still Travis Kelce. He could still do his Travis Kelce things. Noah Gray, though, his backup, he's pretty damn good too, though. I don't know if you watched him at all, but he was coming alive for a few games.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I don't think they're not going to be bad. I mean, they're not going to be bad. They're going to be in the playoffs. They got Patrick Mahomes. They got Andy Reid. They have
Their
Steve
defense is
Spags.
incredible.
Yeah, they got Steve
Yeah.
Spags. They're gonna, you know, probably win a playoff game. I don't know if they'll be first seed. I don't know if they won't be able to win as many close games as they did last year. Uh, that's just like law of averages, and I think it'll be intriguing to see if one of these other AFC teams can finally get over the hump, like the Bills. It'll be interesting to see if the Bengals can shore up their defense to give them chances in games because their offense is always, especially if T Higgins does stay, I think he'll be probably
Yeah.
kind of pissed that he still doesn't have a long term contract. But that offense is scary. They could put up points with anybody. It's just they just literally could not stop anyone last year on defense. So
Yep.
every single game was we have to score 30 points, and
Yeah.
you can only do that for so long.
They did it for a while.
Yeah.
They put up a fight. They're
So
pretty
it'll
good
be
though.
yeah, it'll
Uh,
be it'll be interesting.
I'd say the Eagles are still the scariest team in the NFL. They didn't lose really anybody. Well, they lost a couple people on defense, but that core offensive team there with Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Barkley, they're locked up. I think till 2028, I was reading. They're all locked up for a while.
Yeah, they're gonna be unfortunately
That's a
good.
problem.
Yeah,
That's a big trio there, right? For a long time.
they're we'll see. We shall see with them. They're unfortunately very good. And I mean the Commanders are good, but then it helps both of them that the Cowboys are in the division
Yeah,
uh and the Giants. You got two, literally you got 4 wins a year
a year.
already added onto your
Yeah.
already added. Like as bad, like
The Giants are a dumpster fire. I don't know what they're doing.
yeah.
It's
And
nothing good, but I know that. That's about
and
it.
and the Cowboys, they did the internal hire of Brian Schottenheimer, I think. I think that's what they
Yeah.
did. But like I would not have gone with an internal hire. Like the team,
They need to
the
bring in some new blood, yeah.
yeah, it was the fish was rotted from the head all the way down though. But it was just I would have just definitely done an outside hire. But I mean, I don't think they're going to do anything with Jerry running the show, anyways. A bad owner can, especially a bad owner that like runs like he's the GM.
Everything. Yeah.
It's impossible. I don't think it's just such a hindrance. Look at what the Commanders did without Dan Snyder. Bam,
Yeah.
because they didn't have a owner that would come in and say, hey, or just a horrible person too. But they didn't have a hands-on owner who thought they knew better.
I just can't wait until they change their name back to the Redskins.
No,
I
I know.
think it's gonna. Well, it's not permanent, but or
Well, yeah,
not
but
for sure.
they got
But I want it to happen.
there's a Native Americans signing petition to get it
Hmm.
reinstated. So we'll see.
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
that's
they have
hilarious.
a huge history of it, and it'll be. I mean, that was them for so long in their logo. I don't actually. I don't know if they would do it now though, because they probably spent so much money in marketing the Commanders. I mean, or do you do it because you just made a boatload of money of people having to replace all their Redskins gear with Commanders gear, and now you could switch back. So then now you gotta everyone's probably still has the Redskins gear, but then all the people that only have Commanders gear have to get Redskins gear. And if it's a
Yep.
new jersey, all the people they're gonna need to get the new jersey or the new style. I mean, hey, if there's a petition, it's got enough votes and people want it. That's what I mean. I would do it. If I'm an owner, it's money. At the end of the day, it's a business for them. They bought the team to make money.
Yeah. I mean, that's all that matters to them, pretty much. So I would say to kind of go back a little bit, I'd say for the Bengals, I'd say they should have kept Trey Hendrickson, I think, instead of kind of letting him go get traded. Literally get rid of everybody else. Just keep him. That's my opinion. He was the
Yeah,
only thing going for that defense.
yeah, and he's really good. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know what they would trade him, but their
I think they
defense is
should have done.
literally the weak point.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only player that was doing anything, but
But we'll
I
see
think
where.
he's going to do good somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't know if I would trade him. I would trade him.
Nope.
Obviously, though, usually when someone requests a trade, there's already a reason or bad blood. But
Yeah.
I would just dump money into him. But the problem, I think, too, is they franchised with franchising T. I don't think they got that much cap space anymore because they're gonna have to figure out what they're gonna do with Jamar,
Yeah.
and they need that
Because,
money. And Joe and T are taking up a lot of it. They still got a decent amount though.
yep.
I lied. They got a 51. I don't know if that includes T's 26 though. It might. Wow, look at that split on offense and defense though. The offense is
Really.
150K. Yeah, their offense is 150K or 150 million. Sorry, jeez.
It's like,
And their
wow, that's a
defense,
cheap offense.
yeah, their defense is 76 mil.
Double. Wow.
Yeah, so their offense is double. I have absolutely no clue if that is the first time I've ever actually looking at the split, so I actually have no clue if that is similar. I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to be a horrible example just because we have so many free agents, especially on defense, that I bet you will be in a similar split. It's actually closer than I thought it would be. It's 118 on offense, 92 on defense.
Oh, wow. Well, you're not paying a quarterback, really.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
usually like I mean, if you go to go look at the Packers real quick. Jordan Love takes up probably like 25% of that offensive.
You got 106, 102 on offense, 138 on defense.
What? Wow.
Yeah. So that Bengals split is crazy.
Yeah, that
That
is
it's
pretty nuts.
their offense is double their defense. I'm trying to think. You'd have to
I
have
mean,
you
the
you
only person we got on offense is Jordan Love, pretty much. That has a huge contract. That maybe Elton Jenkins. Um, Josh Jacobs,
yes.
actually. Josh Jacobs probably has a pretty big hit. That's about it. I didn't know their defense was being paid more than the offense, so that's kind of funny. I wonder how many teams have that. Probably not too many.
Yeah, no. Yeah, did the Saints really just re-signed Derek Carr?
Yeah, that's what I was just looking up earlier.
That's
They
so
like
crazy.
restructured him and did a bunch of shit.
Yeah, they're well, they're 8.5 million over the cap right now.
They're still over the cap. I feel like they've been over the cap for a
Well,
decade.
because that's, I mean, it's all fine and dandy. Like I know, like Philadelphia has done it or is doing it. The Vikings have done it somewhat, but signing contracts so your money hits way later. The Saints
Yeah.
did do that, and yeah, the cap keeps going up astronomically. But at the end of the day, it will. You eventually got to pay. You got to. It eventually is going to, and that's what happened with the Saints. They kept doing it, kept doing it, kept doing it, kept trying to win with Drew. I'm pretty sure they're still paying for Drew and some of his dead
Oh,
cap.
that's why.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
they're in cap hell from pushing back and keep trying to run it back with Drew. That they just kept pushing and pushing and pushing that cap or just the money, and it works until you like physically have to start paying these things.
You know what I just realized? The Panthers have been so bad for so long, and they've just never had a lot of cap money, I feel like. They never go out and sign these big free agents or anything like that. And even this year, I feel like they're
Yeah,
not
they
that
don't.
high in. Like,
Who are
who
they
do they
paying?
even have? Exactly. Bryce Young is still on his rookie contract, so it's not a quarterback. Adam Thielen was good, but he couldn't have signed that much.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, who the hell are they paying? They don't have any money, but
What? I think if I'm looking right here. I think they got a decent amount tied up in the trenches, which is good.
yeah. Well, you'd think.
At least like base cap for this year. The top five guys, or maybe even top six, are all trench guys. Yeah, their top. They have no of their top six is three offensive linemen and three defensive linemen.
You'd think they would be like somewhat decent
Or
though.
that might actually be that's cap hit, I guess. But yeah, the only one that really matters
Like
for
I don't
is
know any of
Jade
them.
Clowney. No,
Oh
like I
yeah, I
don't know
forgot
who,
they had Clowney.
but they had Taylor Morton. He's a right tackle,
Can you
31.
go? What's their dead cap situation look like? Are they paying anybody? Does it show that at all?
Oh, it says they got 7.7 in dead. So actually not
Oh
that much. They're just paying. I think they don't
yeah,
have any. They're not paying anyone a lot of money. But okay, so I shouldn't say that. Taylor Moton. Oh, it's Taylor Moton. Uh, his base is 14, but his cap number is 31. So they got some players that are. They don't have any like crazy good players that are taking up a lot of the cap.
yeah. I was thinking that the other day though. It's a weird situation that they're in because they did have Christian McCaffrey, who was great there for a while. He was really their only playmaker for some time.
Yeah. No.
Um,
Yeah. Well, they had Cam when he was camming.
Cam was, yeah, Cam was good there. Remember Steve Smith on Carolina? I miss
Yep.
that.
And then the Ravens.
And then the
Yeah, he was very.
Ravens.
Yeah, he was
That's
very good.
that's it. Yeah, I'll never forget the game versus Carolina. His revenge game.
Hmm.
Ooh, he wanted it. He wanted all the smoke that game.
Yeah. Right. He was. He was. He was very good. He was one of the better wide receivers of our when we were growing up.
Yeah,
And he was so small, but he was so feisty,
it's like a rabid
which was good.
animal, like a Tasmanian devil.
Some of these dead monies are crazy. Cleveland Browns, 52 million in dead money.
To who?
Amari Cooper, 22 million.
Oh,
Zadarius Smith, 14 million. Jedrick
oh
Willis,
yeah.
11 million. Quentin Jefferson, 1 million. Okay, and then the rest are like low monies. But
So
like
it's not
even like
even just Deshaun Watson that fucked him over.
no,
It's
well
every
they didn't.
decision they made.
Yeah, they didn't cut him because he's not dead. He's part of the cap, but it's
Yeah.
destroying him. But even like the Saints got 50 million. It's 31 for Marshawn Lattimore, who they traded last year. 9 to Michael Thomas, who I don't think he's playing anymore. I think they just cut him. 7 to Jameis, and then 2 to your boy Jamal Williams. I think
Oh,
they.
Jamal
I think.
Williams.
I think they're the highest. Them two are the highest dead monies. because you get dead money if you trade and they don't take it, or
Yeah,
you cut somebody. The Falcons are about to have some buku dead money once they cut Kirk.
yeah. They're gonna be screwed with Kirk.
Yeah, you gotta cut him. You
It
know.
sucks for Kirk because I mean he just wanted a fully guaranteed contract, and it looked like he was the quarterback for a while, and then they went and signed Michael Penix or drafted Michael Penix there. It's like what a fuck you to Kirk Cousins in free agency there.
Yeah, but it looks like it probably paid off because he didn't look that good at the end, and Michael Penix looked
That's
like
true.
it's. I think he rushed back a little too quick.
Cousins,
Oh
yeah.
gosh, San Fran. See, this is
Uh-oh.
where it starts killing you because your dead money eats into your current salary.
Yep.
They got
Debo's probably big.
65 million.
Oh my
31
God.
million for Debo. 31 million. Eric Armstead, 15 million. Javarius Ward, who's a free agent, 12 million. Devondre Campbell, 2 million. I hope that dude never plays in the NFL again. He's
Yep.
good, but where he walked to the locker room because he didn't start because what's his face came back and then but then he got hurt, so they needed him to go back in. He said, "Nah, yeah, that ain't a team player. Who's gonna want to play
Nope.
with that guy? Who's gonna want to play with a guy who does that? Nobody."
Nobody.
Oh, for Dre
Yeah,
Greenlaw,
he's on
who's
the Packers books still too. He's 7 million dead cap on the Packers
I didn't know that. That's
because they
crazy.
gave him the
I
deal.
knew he
Yeah,
played for. I knew he played for the Packers. I didn't know he'd still had dead money.
they gave him the deal, and then they traded him to San Fran because he started showing some issues.
No wonder.
They traded him for like nothing too. I think it was like a sixth rounder. I was like, what the hell?
I wonder why. Now we know. Yeah, that's the problem. Eventually it pays. I mean, or eventually, you got to pay the piper. I keep saying that, like,
Oh no, we released him. We didn't even trade him.
I
I was
just kidding.
wrong.
That's low.
Yeah, we just cut his ass.
Yeah,
All
Eagles
right,
have.
I gotta get going here.
All right, me too. All right,
All right,
that's
episode
fun.
8 is officially completed. Another one down.
Another one bites the dust.
Boom, boom, boom.
Well,
All right,
it was
I'll
fun.
see you later, Matt. Yep, it was fun.